Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News starts now.
Right now, a jury is deliberating in the murder trial of Joseph Elledge. It's been going on for nearly 6 hours now. Elledge is charged with first-degree murder in the death of his wife, Mungshee Ji. Good evening, everyone. I'm Noah Klein. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's get straight to it here. We've got team coverage for you. KOMU 8's Isabel Ladon spoke with a friend of Mungshee Ji about the case while we wait for a verdict. But first, KOMU 8's court reporter Peyton Headley has been following this trial since day one. She's outside the courthouse now with the latest. Peyton?
The jury still hasn't come to a verdict after almost 6 hours of deliberation. After hearing closing arguments from both the prosecution and the defense, the judge gave the jury instructions on how they would decide the case of Joseph Elledge. Right now, the jury is deciding if Elledge will be charged with first or second degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, or first or second degree involuntary manslaughter. The punishment for these crimes range quite a bit, from 4 years to life in prison without chance for parole. The prosecution asked the jury to charge Elledge with first-degree murder, saying he intentionally killed his wife and planned it too.
She deserves justice, ladies and gentlemen. Mungshee deserves justice. You know her now. You've listened to those recordings. You know what kind of person she was.
In his closing arguments, defense attorney Scott Rosenblum argued there was no intent and no deliberation, and that G's death was an accident followed by stupid decisions. He also said the prosecution has no real evidence, just speculation.
All this talk about gaslighting, the only person that's gaslighting in this courtroom is Mr. Knight. He's telling you things that don't exist.
So far, the jury has asked for more than 5 pieces of evidence to be brought to the deliberation room for re-examination. Some of those include entries from G's journal, Elledge's search history, and the definition of sudden passion. Reporting live in Columbia, Peyton Headley, KOMU 8 News.
Okay, Peyton with another coverage day there in the Boone County Courthouse. Peyton, thank you. Let's continue our live team coverage now. Before today's verdict, friends of Mungshee Ji talk to us about the case. KOMU 8's Isabel Ladon has been at the courthouse getting reaction from the people who knew Ji best. Bella, I know we're still waiting on that verdict. How are they feeling?
Noah, I spoke with Mungshee Ji's former roommate when the jury went into deliberation. And when the jury left, she told me that she was worried there's not enough evidence to convict Joseph Elledge of first-degree murder. Kylie Lee told me that she thinks Joseph Elledge killed her friend with intent. Now, she also told me that she's been watching the trial for the last 2 days, and she hopes that there's justice for Mungshee Ji and Mungshee Ji's family.
No, I just hope that she gets justice. And her family deserves that. And they're far away, they're frustrated. I couldn't imagine that, how much suffer they have right now. Hope she gets justice.
Lee also told me that she hopes there's no more suffering, but she hopes that there's no more suffering for Mungshee's family and her daughter. Reporting live in Columbia, Isabella Ladon, KOMU 8 News.
All right, Bella, thank you. As the jury continues deliberations, I caught up with former Cole County prosecutor Bill Tackett about what to expect in the next 24 hours. Talk to me about tomorrow. So the jury deliberates tonight, say the judge decides to send them home. What can we expect?
Well, it's more of the same. They'll be fed tonight, probably eating right now, and then deliberate some more, then they'll be sent home. Then they come back fresh in the morning and have the entire day to sort through the case. They likely will have elected a foreman for sure, and then they'll take a vote to see where they are. And then that's when the movement toward a unanimous verdict comes. Again, remember, the defense has said he murdered her. It was reckless. So this isn't a guilt or innocence. 10-2 for innocence. It would be a split jury as to what degree, first degree, second degree, involuntary manslaughter 1 and 2. Where do we land? So it's not do we land somewhere. It's where on this spectrum does this murder fit?
Talk to me in the general scope of a trial. How much do these closing arguments tend to weigh on jurors? How much are you trying to get across?
Closing arguments are, of course, very important if you have a verdict within 2 or 3 hours. All right, that impact, that emotion that has been built by either side is still there. As time wears on, it becomes more of a practical matter, and that's sitting down with the instructions. Here are the paragraphs we need to look at. let's match that up against the evidence and have a discussion about which one of these matches up.
Right now on KOMU.com, we have an interactive timeline walking you through all the developments we've seen throughout the trial right now.
Well, on satellite and radar, you can see that we have had just a few of these passing pop-up showers rolling through today. We've had a bit of instability. That in the first alert full forecast coming up.
All right, Kenton, thank you very much. It's been over a month since the first Afghan refugee arrived here in mid-Missouri. As more arrive, one MU healthcare pediatrician and veteran is reaching out with a helping hand to ease their transition. KOMU8's Maggie Boffman is here to tell us more about the special initiative he started in the community.
Yeah, not only do refugees have to adjust to a new culture and lifestyle, sometimes all they have are the clothes on their back. I talked to one MU pediatrician today who's trying to change that. Veterans Day is a time to celebrate those who have served.
I spent 24 years in the Air Force, spent 7 of that out of Whiteman Air Force Base.
Some are still serving, just in other ways.
I have seen the effects of what war does to people, how it uproots their lives. I've seen refugees.
Dr. Chris Wilhelm is an MU healthcare pediatrician and veteran. He's given care to several families of Afghan refugees who came to mid-Missouri after the Taliban takeover.
I saw one person in my clinic at Battle Avenue who had the slippers that they still had in Afghanistan. Well, they left in the summer and are arriving here in the winter.
Him and his team members organized a clothing drive specifically for these refugees. In 1 week, this was the turnout.
And from there, it just really took off. Within 1 week, we had a phenomenal response, and so many people were very ready and willing to donate their clothing.
Dr. Wilhelm and his team members are loading up donations here at MU's Battle Avenue Clinic and bringing them to the City of Refuge here in Columbia. Winter clothes like these are lining the walls of this room.
Coat after coat.
After serving a tour in Iraq and Afghanistan, Dr. Wilhelm knows what war does to a country.
The U.S. Air Force sent me over there to take care of those children who were injured. When the violence of war meets the innocence of children, children always lose.
Now he's serving in a different way, but with the same purpose. Maggie. Now, Catholic Charities is also accepting donations of specific items. You can find a list of those over on our website at KOMU.com. In the studio, Maggie Boffman, KOMU 8 News.
Maggie, thank you. Today, a new platform for refugee donations launched. Como United is a way for charities to communicate on current and future donation efforts for Afghan refugees. Community organization leaders met this morning to discuss how the program is going to work. Como United's coordinator says a challenge with donation efforts for refugees is the lack of communication. Churches, nonprofits, and other businesses can use a single platform to let the community know what's needed most. Columbia is expecting another 50 refugees to arrive by the end of the week. Catholic Charities in Columbia has received 119 refugees in the last 5 weeks. A crash on I-70 shut down traffic this afternoon at a very familiar location. Plus, find out about a big change from MU Healthcare's pediatric emergency room.
And we're talking about temperatures overnight tonight, cooling down just into the lower 40s, at least by 2 a.m., but already feeling like the 30s. When you talk about wind chills, of course, even colder are wind chills and our temperatures in the morning. It's a big roller coaster. Tracking that roller coaster coming up.
Welcome back. I-70 is open after a multi-vehicle crash shut down both eastbound lanes in Columbia this afternoon. It happened just west of the Stadium Boulevard exit. Eastbound traffic was stopped while crews cleaned up the accident. Westbound lanes also slowed down and experienced some delays. The crash involved a gray SUV and a tractor trailer carrying fuel. We don't know if anyone was hurt. Just after noon today, Columbia police were called to a domestic disturbance in the 1900 block of McKee Street. Soon after, the responding officers called for backup, citing a possible hostage situation in the home. Multiple squad cars showed up to the scene, an ambulance and the Bearcat armored vehicle used in hostage situations. There ultimately was no hostage, and the situation de-escalated quickly with no injuries.
I don't know what information the officer had, but the officer requested assistance, and so that's why additional officers came out. We did send the Bearcat out should there be a situation where we needed to have the Bearcat present, because obviously we want to get the situation resolved in the safest way possible.
According to CPD, that investigation is still ongoing.
Well, when you look at our temperatures, you can see that roller coaster in those lows. High temperatures are eventually going to go back up after we're down for a while. the numbers really don't tell the full story. I'll have that full story after the break.
Welcome back. MU Healthcare announced its pediatric emergency team at the Women and Children's Hospital will relocate to University Hospital. Change will take effect Tuesday. Pediatric patients requiring emergency care should go to the University Hospital Children's Emergency Room. The new location will offer the same services as the current location.
All right, on satellite and radar, let's take another look at where some of these pop-up showers have been moving through, and you can see they're just starting to get out of that event would happen every year.
All right, makes sense. Kenton, thank you very much. Still ahead for us, the latest injury report is in for Mizzou as the Tigers prepare for South Carolina. That's next in sports.
Now, from the Ford Sports Desk, KOMU 8 Sports.
For the second straight week, Mizzou starting quarterback Connor Bazelak is listed as questionable. Good luck to her. Good luck to Robin's team tonight opening the season. We'll have the highlights at 10. That's sports.
Now here's a look at our following for KOMU 8 News at 10 o'clock. Another person is dead following the events at the Astroworld Festival. The death toll now risen to 9. Here from the 9th victim's family. Plus, we're standing by for any verdict decision here in the murder trial of Joseph Elledge. We'll bring you the latest on KOMU.com and tonight at 9 and 10. Kenton?
All right, here's another look as well at First Alert Radar. And you can see that rain is starting to move out now at this point. We're going to be a little cool, actually pretty cold over the weekend, certainly. Could even see a little bit of some non-accumulating flurries tomorrow, too. So a lot of wind and cold temperatures will keep you updated. It's going to be a roller coaster event in the weather.
Are you sure what I think you said? Said flurries.
I did say flurries, yeah. Non-accumulating flurries.
All right.
Said that first.
Devin's still going to freak out South Carolina on Saturday at that football game.
That's our time for now. We'll see you back here at 10.